The first thing you do when you go about setting up your Google MCP servers is you go to this page on the internet, you look up documentation, and you land onto this page. And you start clicking on this product, trying to understand how do I go about setting up the servers. This talks about a lot of things. It talks about how do you enable the supported project products. How do you go about authenticating? How do you go about managing and all of that just makes it a lot more confusing for you. And in this video, I'm just trying to make it very easy for you to go about setting up these Google MCP servers. Are of great value if you are only able to get it to working real quick. Hello, everyone. This is Jay at Everything Cloud Platform, where we explore everything from cloud infrastructure to agentic AI and actually build stuff along the way. In this video, I'll make it very easy and simple for you to go ahead and build your MCP servers and configure them to work in your Cloud Code setup. We'll get started with looking at G-Cloud setup that you will need to do all the setup. Then there are some specific beta MCP commands that you will need to be able to execute using your G-Cloud setup. We'll then take Cloud Run as our example and build that MCP server in your Cloud Code. We'll then include some authentication pieces that will help you automate and hence make your Cloud Run MCP server work seamlessly with your Cloud Code configuration. We'll then understand a little bit of difference between the project scoped MCP servers versus the user scoped. It's very important to understand that distinction as you are working with Cloud Code. And finally, once we have seen all the setup, we have built Cloud Run MCP servers and we have got the configurations right. We'll go about extending those configurations to add additional MCP servers like logging, monitoring, BigQuery, Firestore, and so on and so forth. So let's dive right in. First thing you want to do is check your G-Cloud version. You should be on the latest G-Cloud version if you really want to do all of this right. Currently, the Google Cloud SDK is sitting at like 565 or so. I'm seeing 548 here. If you look at the other options as well, you're not seeing a lot of the options like alpha and beta that we will need for the MCP server setup. I'm not seeing any of that here. So the first step we want to do is we want to run G-Cloud components update. This is going to be an important step to take because all the MCP server setup commands really are in those alpha and beta, hence an important step to take. So at this point, we are done with our G-Cloud components update. Let's move forward to the next step. Run the G-Cloud beta services MCP list command to see whether you are able to run the command successfully. That tells me that I was able to run it successfully. If you are not, then it will give you a message that you do not have beta services and you should be able to go ahead and install. Another version of the command is that available flag. That tells you that these are all the MCP servers that are available. You see that this is a much longer list than these. These are the APIs that I have enabled on the project, on the Google Cloud project I am in. So those are showing as available. And of course, you would want to ensure that your G Cloud is connected to your Google Cloud project. I'm sure you will be able to do that setup. If you're not, just point that out in the comments and I can post additional information around that. To add the MCP server up, to set it up, we will need to have this configuration in the .mcp.json file in the current location where you are running the Cloud Flum. This is our configuration for the Cloud Run MCP server. Now let's look at the MCP servers available right now. So if I just do this, I see that there are 4 MCP servers available. But if I just do an ls in the same folder, and on the left hand side, you can see that there is no .mcp.json file. So really, where are these 4 MCP servers set up? It's important to understand how MCP servers are set up for Claude. There is a project scope. There are like variant or different levels of scopes for MCP server setup. There's a project scope. If you set up your MCP servers in the current project, current location in .mcp.json file, the MCP servers are available only to that project. But if you want to set up some of these servers that are going to be common across your projects, across different folders that you are running Claude code in, then you would set them up in .claude.json. So if you look at the .claude.json for me, and if you look for, just search for MCP servers in here, and I will go outside of the project scope and just do a search. After this, you see these. This is where all of these MCP servers are set in Claude.json, right? That's how they are available. What we will do right now is just set our MCP servers in the .mcp.json, and we'll have Claude do it for us. I'll provide this prompt to Claude. Can you add the Cloud Run MCP server to the project configuration, please? We are providing the protocol HTTP and we are providing the URL. Let me just go ahead and issue that. Let's see what Claude comes back with. I'll just say, go ahead. So we see that it figured out that there is no .mcp.json exists for this project. So it goes ahead and creates one, and this is the configuration that it just created. I'll say yes to this. So now it just added. If I look at ls now, or you are seeing right here, mcp.json is available, and this is the MCP server configuration that it added. If I go ahead and now look at, say, run MCP, and let's see if our server is showing up. Well, it's not showing up because what you will need to do is just exit once and just re-enter, because now it will need to pick up the new configuration that just got created, and then it will be able to see this new MCP server that we have just set up. Now if I say MCP, I should be able to see this new MCP server that we just set up. Yeah, you're seeing all of these here, and you're seeing fail to pass, fail to connect. Yeah, because we haven't really set up the authorization right yet, but we are still able to see that Claude is able to get to that MCP server that we have just set up here. It says it does not adhere to MCP server configuration schema, which is fair. We haven't set it up fully correctly yet. In the terminal window, just log into your account and make sure you are connected to your respective account, the Google account that you are working with, right? So you might want to just sign in and make sure you are able to run the commands. I'm connected already, so I just interrupted that command, but you should be able to run commands like gcloud config list or gcloud say projects list. You will be able to just run commands like this and see all of your projects. Once you are logged in correctly, then you will be able to run gcloud auth print access token to get the token. And then you will be able to use that token in your MCP server configuration to be able to get Claude connected successfully. Take a quick peek at the current MCP server setup. Yeah, we know that Cloud Run needs authentication and it needs attention. It is not set up with the authentication yet. That's what we expected. To set this authentication up, I'm going to add this another additional key in my MCP server configuration. This key is called headers helper, and if you read through the command, basically it's echoing authorization colon bearer and the value that you receive as an output from gcloud auth print access token. That's your token that enables this server to connect to your GCP account. I'll go ahead and save this. And now let me take a quick peek whether Cloud Run is able to connect. Obviously, it's not able to connect yet because Claude has not got the refreshed configuration yet. For that, you will need to exit once and come back in so Claude picks up this new configuration here. So let's see, now we are back in here. And if I just do a clear, and now if I do an MCP, now you see the Cloud Run MCP server is still not able to connect. And the reason is nothing but you just need to hit enter there and ask Claude to reconnect. At this point, it should be able to connect. So it connected. I will just run MCP again, and now you will see that the Cloud Run MCP server is connected. At this point, you can go ahead and test some prompts like this. So the prompt is, can you just give me a list of all the Cloud Run services, please? Now it has access to the Cloud Run MCP server. Hence, it will be able to use the same authorization, same authentication to my project, and it will be able to get the services list. Now I should just be able to go ahead and run commands like this. Can you just pull all the services running in Proj eLead online product? That's one of my projects running in my account. And at this point, it just tells me, okay, it's giving me a bash command here, but I really not want to use a bash command here. I want it to be able to use the MCP server. So I'll say something like use MCP server, not the gcloud commands, please. So it's asking that it probably needs to get the authentication. I'll just go here and I'll say authentication. I'll just say reconnect, and yeah, it reconnected, and it should be able to just give us the answer now. So we just said run the services, run the previous command again, and now you should be able to get the answer. Now you're seeing that it is actually using the Cloud Run MCP server, and it's using one of these tools to get the answer. So I'll just say yes to this. It says no results. Maybe the region is different. There you go. So you have all the results coming up now. So all of these services are up and running, and it just provides the answer. Let's try and answer one more question that it will need the Cloud Run MCP for. So I'm saying, can you get the revisions for Elo main Cloud Run service, please? Let's see what it does. It tries to get to the Cloud Run MCP server and tries to get the answer. Let's see if it is able to. So it says the Cloud Run MCP server needs authentication first. Let me start the. So basically it tried using this, but it could not connect, and hence it went back to using the gcloud command. But that's not what we want. And there is a problem. There is a reason why this happens. The way we have provided the header helper in here, it just does not work for an elongated period of time. So what we'll need to do is we'll need to find a different way to provide the authorization so that it generates the token like every time. And I'll try that. We'll try that mechanism now. So instead of this headers helper, we will replace this with a script that will help us work around this issue that we are seeing right now. The script looks like this. There are just 3-4 commands right there. You're pointing to your service account key file that you have saved in a variable somewhere, wherever that path is pointing to. That's your service account JSON file. Then you're running the gcloud auth activate service account, and all of this we did at the start of the session. You're just now creating a bash script around that. You obtain the token using gcloud auth print access token and save it in a variable, and then you echo this statement, the authorization bearer that token. This is exactly what we need in the headers. Now we go back to our mcp.json, and in the headers helper, instead of providing that text that we had, we remove that and we replace that with our the bash script file name. Note that we have provided the entire path, not the absolute path. That is important. If you don't provide, Claude will not be able to resolve to this path where you have this file. Once you have that, now let me just go back in again and let me run the MCP command and see if our Cloud Run is connected. Let me just go ahead and try and reconnect, and this should be able to connect because now it's running that script, that's a bash script at the runtime, and you are able to see that the Cloud Run MCP server is able to connect. And now if I ask my questions, can you pull all the services running in the project in that particular region, it should be able to invoke the right tool from the MCP server and should be able to give you the answer. There you go. You have the answer available. Now I will just run one more question. Can you get the revisions for Elomain Cloud Run service? So one of those services, we are just wanting to get the it just asks you some questions. I'll just say don't ask, yes, and just go ahead and run and call the tools as needed. And here are the details. So you have all the details available right here. The Cloud Run MCP server that we configured is in .mcp.json right in that project. So it's not available to the other projects. I just opened another Visual Code window with this other project that has nothing in it so far. Let me just initiate Claude in here. And let's see if we have the MCP servers available here. Let me do the MCP here. Look at these 4 servers that are available, but there is no Cloud Run here. And the reason is these MCP servers that you are seeing are set up in our with the scope user. They are in our home.claude.json. Whereas the Cloud Run MCP server that we set up is in the local project in the video project, and hence that is not available. So what we'll now do is we'll move our Cloud Run project MCP server in the cloud.json, and then we will see if that becomes available in this other project here. I have the cloud.json available here, and if you search for MCP servers here, I'll close this project. You want to see the MCP servers outside of your project because these are the servers that are user scoped. So what we are going to do is just copy this, and I'll have that configuration somewhere in here. So I'll go towards the end and I will add another definition here. So that's our Cloud Run server sitting right here now. And we'll go ahead and delete this .mcp.json here. Now at this point, we will go ahead and get back to Claude, and I will go ahead and exit. And if I come back again, we should still be able to connect to Cloud Run. I will go ahead and say yes. Now if you see, Cloud Run is available as user MCP, not outside of this. I should be able to go ahead and say connect, and you're back to working. It's just working fine because now it has been set up with the user scope. And now we can go ahead and test in this server as well, the other project where this guy was not available. We'll just go ahead and say exit, and let me come back here and run MCP. At this point, you see Cloud Run is available here because now that is user scoped. I should be able to just go ahead and reconnect, and it will just connect fine. I want to now have more MCP servers connected, not just Cloud Run. So I will ask Claude to go ahead and help set up the other servers. Let me run this command to get to see what MCP servers are available. So I have these available. So I will say I will need the BigQuery. I will need, say, Firestore, because those are things that I'm using in my project. So I'll say I need BigQuery, Firestore, I need logging, monitoring, PubSub, and storage. So those are the 5 or 6 that I will need. Let me have Claude configure those servers for us. Here is the command, the prompt for Claude. Can you help configure additional Google Cloud MCP servers? BigQuery, storage, logging, monitoring, PubSub, Firestore. And you should follow the same pattern as Cloud Run in .cloud. Just be very specific in what you are wanting, and you will get the best outputs from Claude. As you can see, it has successfully set up all of these servers for us. And it's giving us a good confirmation that we have all the servers set up. At this point, if I just run MCP, I'm sure you must have guessed it right. You will not see these because we will need to go out once and just come back in. And then when you run MCP, you should be able to see these additional servers that just got set up. And now you see all of these services. I'll just need to say authenticate once and it should be able to authenticate because the mechanism did not really change. I'm just asking for all the data sets. I just want to see that I'm able to get some answer which is relevant and we should be good to go then. All right, so there you go. It gave me that data set, which I know is accurate because that is sitting in this project. And I should now be able to get, say, tables as well. I'm now asking for all the tables in this project. There you go. So we got a good answer. We know that these are the projects, the tables in this. So now maybe I'll just confirm with one more answer here. Maybe I'll say, give me the top 10 rows from member stats view table. It just generated the SQL query and I think it should just be able to run. All right, there you go. So I think the entire answer is good enough. We are able to get all the answers from BigQuery. Well, that brings us to the end of this session. Hope you were able to follow along and set up all the Google MCP servers that you wish to work in your configuration. Hope you like the content. Please do subscribe to the channel, like the video if you like the content, to see more such content coming your way. Until then, be safe and sound out there and keep learning. Thank you.